Now let's begin the conversation. In the age of misinformation, social media has easily become a breeding ground for chaos. This was the case recently when unverified reports claimed that INEC Chairman Professor Mahmood Yakubu had been sacked. The Independent National Electoral Commission INEC has since debunked the rumors, stating clearly that Yakubu remains in office and is focused on steering Nigeria's electoral process. The Commission is urging citizens to verify information before spreading it. Okay, Biko, here we go again. Fake news, yet again. But really, talk to me. Where did this rumor come from?
People will sit down and confect all kinds of stories just to attract, it's called clickbait.
Okay.
To mislead people, and sometimes just to embarrass the government of the day. Because what is the point in saying Tinubu has sacked the INEC chairman when nothing like that has happened? And he's so, especially in the new media, is so rampant. These days, you don't even know what story to believe. You don't know what stories to believe. I was referring to the hit of the Natasha Akpabio needless quarrel. Somebody said Akpabio transferred 500 million on his phone. And Akpabio was asking, tell me, what are you wearing? And they created it like it was Natasha speaking.
Really?
Natasha had to come out to say, no, there was no time that he sent me 500 million. So these stories will always happen. And if the president is going to make that move,
okay,
of course, Professor Professor Mahmood Yakubu is coming to the end.
Yeah, his second tenure.
His second term. Usually, they don't even do more than one term. So he has already set a record, doing second term. Jega passed off that opportunity, though Nigerians wanted to do second term. Said no, that was not interested. So it's coming gradually to the end. They should be patient for that decision to be taken.
Okay.
And if that decision will be taken, it's not on social media. The president has media aides.
That would...
So many media aides. So the channel is for them, the structure is for one of those media aides
to disseminate the information.
To issue a release to say, Mr. President has made so-so appointment.
Okay.
And then, of course, it has to be ratified by the Senate.
Okay,
yes.
Okay, yes.
So that is not that we'll just be reading what has not happened. It's unfortunate when Nigerians just sit down and use their God-given brain to lie openly, to mislead readers, just because these days, look at, even on TikTok and other social media platforms, now because Nigerians are being paid, somebody will just sit down, will say, Mayor is a goat, he will start abusing you. He's looking for
attention, likes, comments,
engagement and all that, which will fetch him money. This is the way we are abusing the social media. And it's extremely rampant now. So I'm not surprised that this has happened.
Are you surprised that when you heard this news that...
Yeah, as a follow-up to what Bikil said, it's part of trying to generate traffic. And because of the monetization, like I said, everybody wants to say the more outlandish things you write, the more traffic you'll be able to attract to that page. Then you can also look at it from the point of view that some people may want to use it as an agenda setting. They know that the tenure of the INEC chairman is winding down, and that they may want to now direct the attention of the president to some of their own candidates. To say, okay, the president has removed this, and then appointed this person, and all that. It's part of trying to generate interest.
Or maybe to test the waters.
Test the waters and all that. So it's a combination of something like that. But that's one of the negative effects of the social media, and we have to live with it. Because monetization has made it worse, because everybody now wants to get paid, and you can only get paid based on the engagement and traffic on your page. Absolutely.
All right, but for fake news, even in the story, they said Nigerians should verify stories before spreading it.
Yes.
My parents, I even had to scare them before they just forward messages. For Nigerians, how can they verify messages before spreading?
Well, I'm not saying this because I belong to the traditional media,
okay.
to the mainstream media. But in the mainstream media, we have gatekeepers.
Exactly.
Mistakes happen from time to time, but journalists who are properly trained will not just go to town with an unverified story. And the dictum is, if in doubt, leave out. You are not obligated to run a story. I always tell my people in the newsroom that it's better to miss a story than to run a story that is not true. And I always also tell them, because that's the way I was brought up, that where you have a correspondent, trust that correspondent. Trust his judgment. If you cannot trust his judgment, send them back and let someone that you can trust take his place. But if you have a correspondent somewhere and you prefer to use what you source from social media, where you cannot vouch for the sense of responsibility of people putting stuff out there, where there's no filtration, no gatekeeping of any sort, then you are part of the problem. You've got to trust the mainstream media. I mean, there are media houses that we can trust in our country that, look, they will verify this thing before they put it on. And it's not difficult to verify. You can use your phone, you can call people.
Exactly.
You know? So, I think that even some of us in the mainstream media who are very reliant on the social media, we are part of the problem.
Okay.
Because sometimes we don't really verify what we see. We just think that, oh, let the other media house not beat us to it. The fact that even 3 or 4 newspapers carry a story
does not make it true.
Does not make it true. I've seen where everybody goofed on the same story.
Yeah, it's possible. If somebody, if it's the same person that dropped it,
yes, everybody goofed. There was a time when the story came out during the Abacha era that Akinrogun Oshoba had been arrested along with Kokori.
Frank Kokori?
Yes. It was a lie. But we all goofed. And there was no internet in those days. No GSM phones. We all goofed. By the time they were now arrested, people just looked away. They didn't want to pick that story. But it turned out that they were indeed arrested second time.
Oh, dear.
I can't forget. Because we all good, and it was somebody that called the media houses to say, what today they've arrested this person. And it turned out to be a lie. So
I guess this is what makes the difference between a citizen journalist and a well-trained journalist in this regard, talking about fake news. All right, let's move straight to our next conversation.